In today's health-conscious society, CBD has firmly established itself as a natural solution to a variety of ailments. It can be found in everything from oils and gummies to lotions and candles. But even with all of that demand, the nation's hemp industry is still very young, and South Carolina and other southeastern states are just now establishing their roots in one of the newest and fastest growing sectors of agribusiness. A lot of that growth in the Southeast can be attributed to Dr. Jackson Garth and his Verde Leaf Farming Network. Through Verde Leaf, Dr. Garth is empowering farmers with operations of all sizes and offering the solutions, resources, and experience to cultivate healthy and lucrative hemp crops, all with the ultimate goal of boosting local economies, creating generational wealth, and bringing quality, sustainable products to the market. We recently sat down with Dr. Garth to learn more about how the Verde Leaf Group is fast becoming a market leader in the CBD industry. Jackson, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Great, man. Thanks for asking, and thank you for taking time to sit down with us today. Want to start off, tell me a little bit about your company.
So Verde Leaf is a vertically integrated industrial hemp company. What we started off was just saying we're going to process, wait for farmers to bring us their product, and then we process it into CBD oil. What we quickly found out was that a lot of farmers needed help, not just from getting their licenses to grow industrial hemp, but also for cultivation, processing, even selling their product on the back end. And so what we found is we had a higher likelihood of having farmers who would have success by reaching with, earlier on with the farmer, where that farmer had help getting his license, help with genetics, help with all the nutrients and the irrigation and everything he needed to create a great crop. And then we ensured that we had a better product. And then on the back end, we sold for a great price for the CBD and for our farmers. So we're a vertically integrated solution. Just think about it, a one-stop shop for the farmers to make sure we're taking care of them for industrial hemp, and on the back end for customers, providing a great product for them.
Okay, what states do you guys operate in?
Currently, we're in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama. And then next year, we pretty much will be in 2020, we'll be in the entire Southeast, where we'll be Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, and then some farmers in Texas.
Okay, I know there's a lot of misconceptions out there. So so if you would clear up something for me, what's the difference between hemp and marijuana?
So in industrial hemp, they're very similar but very different. When I'm doing talks, one of the things I say, both dogs are, canines, where you have a Chihuahua and a Great Dane, but they're very different. With industrial hemp, the THC level has to be 0.3 or less. If you go over 0.3, then that is considered cannabis. And so on the THC level, if you're over 0.3, that's cannabis. And that then means below that 0.3 THC, that means then you're hemp.
Okay. So is hemp legal in all 50 states?
Yes, what is happening is this. So the Farm Bill in 2018 made it legal to grow industrial hemp, cross state lines, interstate commerce, and all those things. But what happened is each state, if the state didn't have a pilot program like South Carolina or North Carolina or some of the other states, if the state didn't have a pilot program, then that state had to create regulations to give back to the federal government to say this is how we're going to regulate the hemp program or the hemp system in our state. But it is federally legal to grow industrial hemp. And now what you're seeing is with the recent legal regulations coming out, each state is putting their information together and giving it back to the federal government to say, this is how we'll regulate the hemp industry. So coming into 2020, all states will pretty much be growing industrial hemp. So it is federally legal, yes.
Okay, so if I'm a farmer and I have some extra land and I wanted to see about getting involved in growing of hemp, if I come to your company, what can you guys help me with?
Pretty much from everything from soup to nuts. So what we would do is come out, do an analysis of your land, show you the best places to grow it on your land, and then walk you through of helping you get your license, Also making sure that we provide you the quality genetics that you're going to use, helping with irrigation and, land clearing and all the ancillary services. And we would purchase that crop. We'll put you under contract and give you a letter of intent to purchase your crop. And we purchase that at a greater than fair market value. So what you're getting is all the services that you would need to grow at a less expensive price. You get great genetics, and you would get someone who's guaranteeing that they will purchase your crop above fair market value. Okay.
Now, would I need a license to grow hemp?
Yes, you would. And we would help you with that free of charge, where we would help. Back in 2017, we started lobbying for farmers to get hemp licenses, and we help farmers get licenses. So we work with the Department of Ags across the country and across the Southeast to make sure that our farmers are filling out that paperwork correctly so they would get a license. So yes, you would need a license, but we would help you with that.
Okay, tell me a little bit about what are some of the uses if I was a farmer and I grew hemp. What are some of the uses of some of the end products that my crop could be used for?
Right. So there are over 50,000 uses for hemp, and a lot of times people will talk about all the uses that they could do. Right now, the cash cow, or the main thing that people are selling, is in the CBD. And even when you look at different cannabinoids that are CBG, CBN, those products aren't being mass produced yet, so it's really CBD. So 90+% of your crop is going to CBD. But you have things where you can do fiber, and that's textiles, that's hempcrete, that's roll, that's car paneling. So on the textile kind of fiber side, those are things that are coming. It's down the road 3-4 years, but right now it's CBD. So you'll see within CBD, you'll see both the tinctures, you'll see smokable, you'll see skin creams, bath bombs, all those things with CBD. That's more personal usage that you would see with CBD. And that's really affecting pain and calmness and all those things, but that's on the CBD side. The fiber side is coming down the road.
Okay. And so you guys said you would buy my product if I was to grow it. So tell me a little bit about that process.
Right. So we have something called the Farming Network. And in our Farming Network, what we've done is we've created a network that allows farmers to join, and I always say free of charge, but it helps them with getting their license, coming in, being able to have access to farmers who have already grown the product for years, also having access to individuals who have knowledge to do the land clearing and the drip irrigation, all of those at a decreased price. And then in terms of the purchase of that crop, by joining our network, what we're saying is, instead of Verde Leaf paying 15 different brokers on the back end where they would mark up the price to then sell it to the end customer, we cut those brokers out. We give that revenue to the farmer. So now the farmer doesn't have to fight with where the market is going on what they're going to get paid. We pay them above fair market value, and we sell that crop into end products at a less expensive price than they would be able to get from any other customer.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about the numbers. What's the economic impact of hemp?
So when you look at the average farmer that's growing hemp versus green beans or cotton or whatever, when they're looking at $300 per acre, when you're looking at hemp, that farmer can do anywhere between $20,000 and $30,000 per acre. And that's revenue. You subtract out the operating costs, that farmer may be at anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000 profit per acre. And so that's where the learning curve is, where we try to say, okay, let's make sure we're kind of surrounding that farmer and making them more successful and helping them join a network of seasoned professionals who have done hemp. So then we can help maximize the probability of that farmer getting that $20,000 to $25,000 profit per acre. Because when you look at the average farm, a 10-acre farm, that farmer on 2 cycles of grows in the Southeast could do anywhere from $700,000 a year to $1 million a year in revenue.
So about how many acres, if I was interested, about how many acres would I need to grow hemp?
We try to start all our farmers off at about a minimum of 5 acres. That gives us enough to put them in our network and make sure they have enough acreage where they're learning, about the insects, they're learning about the irrigation, how to win the water, they're learning about how to cultivate it properly. That gives them enough land and make sure and ensure that they're learning about the product and they're being successful. But there's no cap on the backside in terms of how large they can grow. But the minimum we try to say is 5 acres. We have some farmers growing 100 acres next year. Right now we're on a farm. They did 10 acres last year and they're going to do about 30 acres next year. So once you learn the process, then you will incrementally grow. And a lot of farmers are growing because they know their crop is being purchased, guaranteed on their contract, and it's being purchased at a greater than market value. So that ensures the farmer that he's saying, I know this is something that I can be successful in, and I can have something long term where I know I'm going to make residual income.
Okay. What was the startup cost a farmer would be looking at to get involved in the network?
A farmer's looking at about $8,000 to $10,000 per acre. One of the things that's literally your genetics, your labor, also your irrigation, if you need a well or not, and then your drip irrigation for watering your plant, and then any nutrients. So those things, one of the things that I always, when I'm talking to farmers about hemp, it takes typically to grow hemp, even if you have your land, it takes money, it takes time, and it takes labor. And those things you can't really get rid of. So it's about $8,000 to $10,000 per acre, but most farmers should see a $20,000 to $25,000 profit margin.
Okay. You guys bring farmers into the network, but you guys are taking it from the field, and you guys are going to transport it to the market where you make the final sale.
Right.
Is there any other point in the distribution process where I can get involved in the network other than farmers?
Yes. One of the things that we try to do is make sure, as we're building our network, a lot of our farmers have equipment and supplies and different things like that, and what we do is we add them into our certified subcontractors list. And so then if a gentleman or a farmer has land clearing equipment, or they have farming equipment, or whatever supplies that they have, we could utilize those supplies. It helps us as a company because it decreases the amount of capital that we need to operate, but it helps the farmer because we create residual income from him on ancillary services. So other services other than farming, that farmer's already invested for that equipment, but we're allowing him to make money as we grow as well. So essentially he's growing his business within our business.
Okay. Now, the licensing process, how difficult is that?
It's not very difficult now with the farming bill. It's just making sure a lot of farmers, as the Department of Ags are going kind of high tech, where it's not a written contract, but it's more online. Some farmers are having difficulty with that when you get kind of deep woods, some of those farmers, but it's not a very difficult process, and we help the farmer and we hold their hand doing that to make sure that they're getting their license. Typically it'll take a couple of days to fill out the application, just make sure we have the information, and then they'll start approving everything here in accepting applications in January, and then approval should be February, March, when farmers are ready to plant.
Okay. Now, how let's just say an acre, how many liters or milliliters will an acre of hemp produce, and give me an estimate on the price value of CBD oil in the market.
One of the things that we try to do is make sure our farmers are well educated in terms of what they're going to do per acre. For an acre, we recommend, because of the loss that we've seen, you do 2,000 seedlings or clones per acre, and then you're going to have, I would say, roughly 40% loss there when you start talking about your insects, you start talking about drought, those types of things, where they're going to see a loss. So you go down to probably 1,600 plants. By the time you dry that, you may get down to 1,100 pounds. So each plant is valued at, or each plant should weigh about 1 pound. Okay. When you go ahead and you do the loss on that in terms of water weight and stems and all those things, we try to make sure that each acre is about 1,000 pounds. On that 1,000 pounds, that farmer should get, depending on the CBD percentage, anywhere from 20 to 25,000 in revenue. Sometimes, depending on if it's greater, it might be 35,000. It just depends on your CBD percentage. But we try to make sure our farmers are making anywhere from 15 to 25,000 in revenue. Per acre, we make, depending on the CBD percentage, and that's the amount of oil that's produced based upon that percentage, you should make anywhere from 45 to 55 kilos or liters, kilograms of CBD oil. And so because we're cutting out the brokers, we produce great oil, we can sell at a greater price by in turn then paying our farmers a greater percentage than our competitors.
Okay. And does the company host information forums, or is there an opportunity throughout the year where you can meet with potential clients?
Yes, one of the things that we try to do every couple months is on the farms that we have in certain areas, we'll host events. And in that, then what we're doing is just information sessions where we'll have farmers, local farmers, come out, look at one of our farms, talk to the farmer, talk to the Department of Ag and the land grant schools and all that, so they can get entrenched in, what's going on and learn, from and be, introduced to the Department of Ag, land grant schools, and then other farmers who are doing it. I think that's the best way to introduce the farmer to success, is have them allow the time and ask questions with individuals who are actually doing it in the industry.
Okay, is there a time limit or season that you guys start taking potential clients into the network?
Yeah, we're taking clients all year. What'll happen is this: we try to make sure that and there's just seasons based on grows. So the growing season, from depending on where your farm is located, down here in the Southeast, from March, April, up through October, November, depending on, where you located. So most farms will get 2 grows. So what we try to do are 2 growing crops. What we try to do is make sure that we have farmers prior to the grow season so we can prep their land and all that. So it's literally from like October through February is when we want to add all the farmers in so they're ready to grow.
Jackson, thank you for taking time to sit down with us today. Before I let you go, would you leave us with some contact information in case somebody wanted to reach out and find out more information, how they could get involved?
Definitely. Our website is www.verdeleafgroup.com. That's VERDE Leaf, LEAF group.com. And our phone number is 404-334-9962. Again, 404-334-9962.
Jackson, thank you for taking time to sit down with me.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.